part 2 of the Punters show, boys. We haven't mentioned the tournament on Saturday, which was for Memsey Maccabi Diva Stakes Day. Darren, you were in it.
Yeah, Matt sort of, twisted my arm there and tempted me. I thought, I'll see how it goes. It's sort of hard to concentrate on getting the right strategy when we're doing the pro better stuff. So, starting bank was 25k. I sort of chipped away there through the races I really liked and got my bank up to 65,000 coming to the last, and then forgot to have a bet in the last race.
Oh, good work. And where did you finish?
And then finished fourth.
I finished fourth, yeah.
Finished fourth, okay.
Yeah, first loser.
Well, that can happen, because I've done that before
Yeah,
too.
yeah, I remember, like last week, wasn't it? The first winner, you were just going to probably truckload and you forgot to play.
Yeah, that was the stayer. My whole bank on the stayer, but not more, like more astronomist.
Astronomist, yeah.
That one.
Astronomist.
That's like Darren's radiologist. DF, he called it radiologist all the way around at Gosford. I'm thinking, it's radiologist! Radiologist.
It's annoying, isn't it?
But anyway, there are a few of the boys. I mean, honestly, every time I went back to check the leaderboard, which I only did a couple of times during the day, I just couldn't believe it. I mean, these guys in there, there's only 18 starters. Some of them are just so sharp. Like I was not. I mean, at one stage there on my bank after halfway, I was up to 45,000, and I was only 150 off the leader and 100 off the placings.
I've got to say,
deadly.
If I was not who I am, and I was a bloke who enjoyed racing, that would be the way I would bet on a weekend. Would be a $500 tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, it's right enough an outlay to be juicy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good piece of money, 500, but you get to play all day. You could run into 6,000 or 8,000, and the whole idea is
the strategy of it. It puts another layer on it, doesn't it?
Let's notice the top bidders put up $10,000 and collected 9. So they're not like they're made a ball of, and if it gets over the 10,000, that goes in the pool. So they're guaranteeing giving their money away.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how fair is that?
It's pretty fair.
It's fair.
It's fair.
It's beyond fair.
It's pretty
It's
good.
a bit different to betting on the pari-mutuels. They're going to take 18 cents out of your dollar, suck it straight out of you, and then with their fixed odds, your bet's pending, you can't get on. Top better go here. We'll play against each other. Yeah. Terrific concept. I wish I had more time. I mean, I'll always be in the $500 Sydney ones. Because I still don't get to play them right because I'm so damn busy. Yeah. But the Melbourne ones is hard for me because I haven't got the Melbourne form done and blah blah blah.
I did beat Kingsley home, I think, so I'll take that as a moral.
Well, that's the other thing too. The bloke who won Flacco, and well done Flacco. He walks around all week beating Kingsley Bartholomew.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. He beats all the dirty, filthy pros around there, I'm as good as them.
Hang on, dirty filthy. Kingsley was the greatest man in the world last week.
He is great, but I meant the bunch of the other ones.
They could have given me the winning numbers before the start of the day, and I wouldn't have beat Flacco. So well done, Flacco. Great job.
Great job. It's like getting a chance to tee up this afternoon in New South Wales. Tiger Woods is playing, and he shot 69, you shot 67.
The only thing the way the Tiger's going is you'd be giving him a start. What's Tiger? I'm playing off 26.
Great.
It's the new quaddie.
The new quaddie.
You're a 1 in 18 chance at the start of the day to win 10,000.
Yeah.
You just put yourself in that chance.
Yeah.
And I think the prize money was it 631?
Probably something like that. It'd be there since
Even finishing second's not bad, 3,000.
Yeah.
It's a good piece of money for a. Let's think of $500. If you just use that as your whole day's turnover, like if you bet like $50 a rate, you should probably turn over 500. Turn over in the tournament.
Yeah. I would have been wrapped if I snuck in the third place. That would have been
dirty, filthy racing. New South Wales doesn't get to touch any of it. It's a fault.
No, we have to pay. We pay racefield legislations on that.
No way.
Yes, we have to. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Don't you just collect and redistribute?
No, well, because
you're not a bookie. How?
No. The original price that goes in. Yeah, it goes this racefield legislation.
No way.
Yeah. So for everybody's $50 that goes in, it's the. Whatever. Well, are they up to 20% yet or not? They've gone that way? Yeah.
Oh, racing yourself.
Yeah.
Stop. Wait till they start sending you bills.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't want to do anything to actually, encourage it, would you?
Because all it does is encourage turnover off that.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when the bloke gets 6,000,
he's going to bet it.
You think he's going to tell his missus?
Yeah, no.
It's not a chance in hell.
No.
That goes with that little.
Wouldn't it be encouraging the game? No. Let's anybody who's having a go, not allowed.
Let's we jump into some questions for Potts before he has to head off to lunch somewhere. It's Mark.
You do lunch all right, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm big on lunch. Big on lunch. What bigger than that? The gym.
A good friend of the show, Mark Cruikshank, he's asked you a question. Why the shift to Melbourne as a focus away from Sydney? I think he says, I think you still follow Sydney, but when did that shift happen, or was it always that way?
First of all, thanks, Brookie. Good to hear from you. It's about a year ago, a bit over a year ago, Dal. I was just finding the market in Sydney was so nailed down. It was just really hard work, and my view is it's mainly about field size and just the nature of the operators that operate in Sydney as opposed to Melbourne. Melbourne's got a few different characteristics that I'm not certain about, but I've got some theories. They may or may not be right, but just so generally speaking, there's bigger fields. It's an even playing field. The jump from a good performance at the provincials to winning a city race is not that big. It can be easily done. It happens on a weekly basis. So there's enough. I mean, for example, the Wednesday Sandown meetings are completely different to the midweek meetings in Sydney. So the midweek meetings at Sandown are populated by horses coming off provincials that are right in the race, and so you tend to get 6 to 10 chances in the race as opposed to 2 or 3. And so that just suits me better because I like turning over a lot of money and backing. I like to back 50% of my own market in most races. That's pretty much what I do, and then just stake around how the market prices them as opposed to how I price them. So the structure of Melbourne racing just suits that style of betting better.
I think, Darren, I know when you first got the idea of it, you were doing your Sydney set, but also doing Melbourne during the carnival.
Yeah.
And you found that was more profitable.
Yeah.
And then the decision was made, maybe was that carnival, or was that because it's Melbourne? And that's when you sort of really decided to roll your sleeves up and have a crack at Melbourne in the off season. And you found that was a good result.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly right. I still want to do the Sydney form because, particularly in the carnival, those Sydney horses, you have to have a handle on them. Like Raphael's cat coming down off a Canterbury Wednesday meeting to be, a legitimate winning chance there on Saturday. It just shows it. There are at least, I would think, 10 colts in Sydney that have got something more to offer than Raphael's cat. When they come down to Melbourne, they're going to be very hard to beat.
Marco B wants to know your favourite tracks in Melbourne and why.
Caulfield, because Caulfield just races really truly and has less variables. So Caulfield's the one least affected by wind. The track manager there is just outstanding. He just doesn't listen to anyone else. He just does what he thinks is right, and he's got a really good handle on his track. Very rarely, even though they get off the rail sometimes, but it's just, I don't know, I find the form really easy to do for Caulfield, so it's clearly the best. Then I like betting at Sandown. Flemington's fine, but you've got to be very careful of the wind at Flemington. On Saturday there, the meeting is dominated by outside draws around the circle because the wind just was dragging the leaders back through the field, so it was just destroying the chances of the
isn't that a good thing?
Yeah, it's a good thing. It is,
but
I'm
make,
just saying...
make that an equal factor. You're like me, you like all the tracks.
Yeah, I do.
I like it.
There's something to offer about all of them, yeah.
People always say, well, what one do you like? I go, all right, well...
Race tracks.
Right, let's start with A, B, C. I like Cessna.
I tell you what I don't like though. I don't.
Canterbury. I go to alphabetical.
I don't like Moonee Valley when the rail's out past 4 metres, so because it's too biased. And I just hate that.
Surely, Glenn, you don't like any fence track.
I don't like fence tracks.
So
if it's a
where the
fence
rail is.
day, and at the end of the day, it's really worked out a fence day, and I look down at my book and I go, I've only just lost, or I'm pretty square. I really feel like I've had a good day. Because if it's down the outside, you cannot get me. I'll get you every time.
So plus 7 metres at Moonee Valley is like plus 4 metres at Gosford. It's just like a ground. I just hate it. So I just avoid them meetings like the play.
But, there's nothing worse than backing the best horse in the race, watching it sit pull 3 wide and get beaten 3.5 lengths and run fearful. Be the run of the race and you do your money.
And never a chance.
And just, there it is.
Aren't you the real specialty to being a biased punter? Those biased punters who do really well sort of struggle when it's an even surface. Yeah.
Maybe they do their form, they just have great flexibility, which I think I've always said. Maybe they don't do anything. They've got maps, there it is.
Yeah, so those rail out 7 metres at Moonee Valley, it's like you hear a lot of people say find the leader, find the winner. But I'm telling you now, it's not an easy job finding the leader because
No, that's right.
because they know it.
Yeah.
There'll be so many horses that'll race completely.
That's right, different to their
Yeah.
pattern.
And also-
you need the jockey intention. You need to know what's in their mind.
I'll give you an example. There's a horse called Lazy Axel down there who led at the last 7 metre meeting at Minivan 1 and has never been forward of midfield at any other start in his career.
Yeah.
And it was the last race of the day. So how the other jockeys allowed it to happen is beyond me. And surprisingly enough, it was extremely well backed
Oh, okay.
late on the field.
All
Which
the same
I
line.
joined in, so
Yeah.
happy days.
I had a question just on the Melbourne tracks too, that from a phone call last night. Actually, wanting to know lanes in Melbourne. Obviously, we speak a lot about lanes. Glenn, you can block your ears. You had the theory about the watering truck down the centre of the track at Flemington, but Mick Goody's got an aerating machine which seems to have evened the track surface at Flemington now.
Yeah, so I think for 3 or 4 years now, there's been a real lane where the massive, great big tractor with the 2 big booms goes down the middle at Flemington, and then it's been a real issue. And
So where's the lane actually where the tractor was?
yeah, whether it's
So you got the tractor like that.
With the tractor with the arms like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
but there must be, are you saying there's a dry spot in the middle?
no, well,
Or
they water that
outside
part
the
as well, but the wheels are just
The
going
way
over that,
the-
so it's just
so
like
it's
a big roller.
steamroller.
It's like it's been rolled.
Yeah.
And it creates like a lane this big.
Yeah, because they don't go in exactly the same spot every time. They're sort of moving it. You know what I mean? Like, so it's a huge big tractor thing. So they're moving it probably a metre or so either way each time.
And probably
And it was just creating a part in the middle that was like,
Lambourne says it's so true, is that just mow it and leave it alone.
yeah.
Yeah,
Leave the rail alone, mow the grass, don't water it.
let it go. Exactly. Everyone has realised that.
Leave
what's
it to
happening.
God.
Leave it to God.
Yeah. Apparently one of our emails says
Yeah,
I'm
Pascal.
in trouble here by Jonah.
And last one from John Wayne.
Is he the cowboy?
Yes, he wants to know. He wants to know your thoughts on Kieran McAvoy as a jockey. You've got some good thoughts on him, I think.
Well, Kieran seems to go better in Melbourne than he does in Sydney, but he's
It's very purposeful.
yeah. But he still falls for the same old trick. Like, so he's on High World there on Saturday, and he did take his time getting to the front, which was I wished he'd have taken more time getting to the front, and then slowly push the accelerator. But he lost his nerve at about 800 and put the brakes on. The horse completely lost its momentum. If you watch the last 100 of that race, High World is coming again. It's just, that horse can't. It's got. It's
Classic sign.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Can I say something about
Sorry.
Karen McAvoy? I think the marketplace is really reacting to Karen over the last year, and he's being like potted in the marketplace. And I think there's value in backing him now.
Yeah.
I like backing Karen because I do think you're getting good odds about it. He's an accomplished rider.
Gabe's
Yeah.
put him on a few.
You did wave at me that time.
Gabe's been putting him on a few, and he's been riding them really well.
I think he's got something to offer now for punters.
But like most of them, like, they can be perfect one race and just
you
awful the next. And, you
And
just,
that's
the problem.
But that's the beautiful thing about racing.
Yeah.
Just that mind, complete mind, FUCK. It's just.
Well-
That's I'm trying not to swear as much.
Yeah, I'm the same.
So can I just say, I
One a
sort of
day.
had a bit of a shot at Dwayne Dunn, who's a jockey I like backing, and he's a great rider, but I don't particularly like him in leaders. But his ride on Entirely Platinum on Saturday was outstanding. He deliberately let the others go in the first 200 or 300 metres, waited and started to build his own. He got up outside the lead. He probably, went with Kieran a little bit slowing, but he almost got Entirely Platinum home in a race that had no right to win.
Yeah.
So it was he's gone with the horse more. He's let that horse build its momentum. It's a much more effective way of riding a horse like that.
There was just another question there, and you've sort of stated this. Was it a conveyor belt up the middle of the track for the circle races at Flemington? But you believe the main thing at Flemington is the wind.
It's the win. Yeah.
Well, you go to Flemington, it's the vastest plain you've ever
Oh.
seen. It is just, you can't see anything else.
That's mega, isn't it?
Right, and so any wind, Randwick operates a little
Yeah.
bit like that,
Yeah.
but it's so fast.
Yeah,
It's got the hill at the back, but I know what you mean. But
Yeah.
Melbourne doesn't.
yeah, but Flemington is just.
And when it picks up over the plains,
Yeah,
there it is.
yeah.
I'd love to get someone that understands these things to explain it to me. But same at Randwick as Flemington, it doesn't really matter which direction the wind comes from. It hurts the leaders.
Yeah.
Like,
No, the reason being is
The
because
horse
if
is
it's
cutting
going,
the wind.
Yeah.
if it's going into them at a certain direction, well, I'm talking from Randwick. If it's going into them down the back, then they're setting the leaders down the back. The back markers have got cover. Then if it's a headwind in the straight, the back markers are out wide and getting the spinnaker effect.
Wouldn't you love a Melbourne Cup with like a 40 kilometre an hour winds, and all of a sudden as they're going into the Cup, plus up to 60, 80 kilometres an hour, we get a Melbourne Cup just into a gale.
Yeah,
God, that'd be more.
The last
with one runner.
the last 5 or 6 races in Melbourne were run well below average in regards to the first sectional.
Yeah.
None of the leaders sort of really got warm, so just shows that going slow in front doesn't automatically lead to victory.
Well, I know like Noble Predictable perhaps wasn't wound up first up, but she was truckloaded gate 1, and at the minute that Craig Williams was going to hand up the lead, she had no hope. Like she was just behind Tortine, who had no business being in the 1400 metre race. It was just, I still can't believe the price they were betting there. It seemed very.
Yeah, you picked that out of the show.
All right, is that the last of the questions?
Yeah, and Darren's got to go to lunch.
Yeah,
we just get rid of him halfway, or we
you're
go back
all right to just keep going?
Yeah, I'll keep going.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Are you
All
sure
right.
you're sweet?
From
I don't want you missing out on entrees.
from Anthony.
No, another 10 minutes.
Glenn,
Yeah, I saw that. What a great photo.
there it is, as he says,
Forward as well.
gaining momentum.
Yeah, tap out. What a beauty.
Tap out.
Thanks, like, it's at the picnic. So I met this bloke, haven't I? I know him.
Yeah, you know Anthony.
He's a friend of mine, isn't he?
Yes.
Sat down with us a few weeks or months ago.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I met him, didn't I?
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. That's a great photo. On a Ford as well. Tap out. What a beauty.
Yeah.
I've dropped off the tap out as well.
Yeah, you only last for about a week on anything.
Yeah,
The only thing
I
that
do struggle, don't I?
Yeah.
How many Fords have you owned over your career?
Yeah, half a dozen.
All right. Jonah, tell Pollard he's getting in over his death when disparaging divine revelation. In fact, he's embarrassing himself.
Now, can I just stop that thing there?
Yeah.
Tell Pollard he's getting in over his depth when disparaging divine revelation. In fact, he's embarrassing himself. Now, Jonah, a lot of people could take that as being a bit harsh. I want you to know I embarrass myself about every subject.
Anyone calling themselves a gambler should automatically accept
anyone
it.
calling themselves a gambler, I think you can call me a gambler.
Yeah, I think, as far as gamblers go,
I don't just call
you are
myself
the
a gambler. I never stop betting.
Yeah.
But anyway, keep going.
And how about what percentage do you bet? Do you bet, Glenn?
I take it all to the track every day.
Even ignoring all the irrefutable evidence, it's still a bet to nothing. If he wants to know why, Google Pascal's
So
wager.
you're saying I should not bag the afterlife just in case it's there?
No,
The
well,
boogeyman effect.
I actually read this. I read this a while
So
ago,
then
and I
when-
meant to bring it onto the show.
So
but-
you went and Googled the Pascal
No, well,
wager.
I've actually got a book.
We'll read the Pascal wager.
Yeah.
Let's read
Pascal's wager is named after 17th century French philosopher and mathematician Blaise Pascal.
So he wrote this in 1670.
Yeah, well,
so be an educated bloke.
Yeah, well,
He's just half out of the cave.
but yeah, with a lot of the philosophers
They go
at
an
that
early
time, they're in conflict about the philosophical theory and also religion. It's quite funny when
Yeah,
you
because basically, if you were in that time, if you weren't like a rapist or like a pillager or a pilferer or like someone didn't stone other people, you were actually looked upon as like. Because we were cavemen in 1670, I'm telling you.
All right. So, well, Pascal's most famous works
Yeah,
was
Pascal.
the Pensies, Thoughts translated, which was published posthumously in 1670. It is in this work that we find what is known as Pascal's wager. The gist of the wager is that, according to Pascal, one cannot come to the knowledge of God's existence through reason alone. So the wise thing to do is to live your life as if God does exist, because such a life has everything to gain and nothing to lose.
So you've got to be a hypocrite to yourself.
If we live as though God exists, and he does indeed exist, we have gained heaven.
That's not true.
If he doesn't exist, we have lost nothing. If, on the other hand, we live as God does not exist, and he really does exist, we have gained hell and punishment and have lost heaven and bliss.
According to Pascal.
If one weighs the options, clearly the rational choice is to live as if God exists is the better of the possible choices. Pascal even suggested that some may not, at the time, have the ability to believe in God. In such case, one should live as if he or she had faith anyway.
So be a bullshitter to yourself.
Perhaps living as if one had faith may lead one to actually come to faith.
Well, thanks very much, Pascal, and thanks for that thought, Jonah, and thanks for caring about me, even though I'm embarrassing myself. But I think deep down in you got to believe in gravity. I've said that a million times on the show. It never stops giving gravity. I love it. And maybe it does say here to live like a decent person, doesn't it?
Yeah, live like God. You live like a decent person. You're very kind.
I try to be kind. If I got anything, I'd give it to you. I don't know if that gets me to heaven. Good luck to me. But there's nothing out there. You poor bastards. They're worried about the boogeyman, and the poor old boogeyman. Jeez, he goes good, the boogie, doesn't he?
Sky Daddy.
Love the boogeyman.
Les, guys, can you ask Glenn for his review of the
Why is it always
replacement?
ask me.
Well, this is
No, 'cause
this
you're
is
the-
something that you champion.
You're the
retro
racing retro reviewer.
correspondent.
All right, okay. No,
Yeah.
This name, yeah, go.
Can you
watched
ask
it.
Glenn for his review of the replacement racing retro? Name Thoroughbred Weekly featuring Greg Radley, Ron Duffy, Richard Freeman, Bjorn Baker, and Blake Shin. Watch the first show on Sunday. Hope to hear his thoughts on Monday.
I watched it as well, Les, and thanks for the email.
Same
And-
time slot?
Yeah, but on a different channel, not 519521. It's a snappy looking type of thing, and they do a pretty good job. Bjorn's quite funny. I think they comb his hair over the side with a little gel, which looks hilarious. I don't know what else we can call it, but I will ask, what has happened to Matt Brown?
I actually saw Matt the other day. I think Matt's doing a bit more. I was in Sky Channel. I couldn't go there today, but Matt said he's doing a lot more producing stuff.
Because he's, but in front of the camera was his go.
Yeah, that's sort of.
And I'm sure he liked it.
Yeah.
Did they catch him having a few bets or what's the sort?
I don't. No,
It's the obvious choice, isn't it?
Radley.
As I said, I ran into Matt the other day. and he
Radley's
just-
getting, if he gets paid per word, Radley could be flying. He's done every show, they send him to every track, especially now at the track's gone.
It does seem to be working heaps, and I've warmed a lot more to Greg over the years, because he doesn't pretend to be anybody he's not.
No, he doesn't.
He's just true to himself, which is,
yeah.
he doesn't try to be an expert, and he asks,
That's right, he does defer to experts, doesn't he?
he doesn't
Yeah.
be an expert, and he's out there doing his best for himself, and I think he does an okay job. I found him hard to watch a couple of years ago, but that's because he's who he is.
Put Munsey next to him, it seems level-headed.
With the dirty filthy.
Right,
crowd,
okay,
like,
so
honestly.
talking about this show, is it just like retro but with different faces?
Kind of just a little bit of a different setup, the same sort of, no, not really different faces, it's just the same people.
There's no kennel.
You got no kennel. You got
Okay, so Greg Radley hosting instead of Matt Browning.
yeah, that's
Pretty
about
much.
it.
And bring in Bjorn and bring in Blake.
But
Well,
they-
even their guests.
they get-
No, they're hosts. Bjorn's hosted. Bjorn's a full-time host.
What? He's
Yeah.
done the task.
Yeah, no.
Because I only watched the show once, I just thought he was a guest.
No. Him and Shin are the hosts of the show. They'll be on for the
Well,
whole
I
time.
find Bjorn quite interesting to listen to.
Yeah, I thought you were
I
off
like
Bjorn.
I think when it comes to hanging around our little joint, he never comes over when his horse wins.
Yeah.
And then when it goes no good, he goes, oh, my horse will go. He's just dirty, filthy Bjorn. But he's actually quite, he's quite fun to watch. Yeah, he's got something to offer. And I don't mind watching Shinny. I love Shinny, he's my man.
Okay, well, there are your thoughts.
Yeah, but they're asking, what are my thoughts on... Yeah, okay, they were my thoughts, yeah. I thought they wanted me to rename the show.
No.
Punter show, 10 out of 10, and it's probably about 5 out of 10, what you're saying.
Well, I find it all right to watch. And I
Watchable's good in racing. Watchable.
Watchable is very good in racing, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Because so much is so
Yeah,
unpleasant.
exactly. DD on the same subject. Just finished watching
Before
the.
you change, I was just going to say I've watched the. I haven't seen this show, but I've watched the new Channel 70 Racing.com replacement for
How was that?
whatever their one was. I thought wouldn't be much.
Like racing review.
No, that's the channel.
What are they calling it? They're calling it correct weight.
Okay.
Right.
So on the
That's a good
So
name.
the show that Bruce Clark used to do
yeah
with
on the Sunday
Richie
in,
Yeah,
in competition with Retro.
yeah.
So
With
they
the
used to call it
very
Racing
blue
Review.
set.
Now they're calling this one Correct Weight. So they got Matt Stewart and Simon Marshall on it with Jason Richardson. So
Simon Marshall's good to watch.
I've got to say, I expected to get not much out of it, but I actually am getting some really interesting pieces watching Simon Marshall.
Yeah,
Simon Marshall's very watchable.
He says
Yeah.
some really interesting things about jockeys and what they're doing with their knees and their
yeah.
and the reins and stuff like that. That are,
Really?
for someone like me that's got no background in understanding and horses, it's like they're really interesting things to pick up on and then watch in races. Okay,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Well, I'll give you just quickly. I'll toss them up because you watch a show in the future with Glenn Boss, Tommy Berry, and let's say who else is right up there these days? Glenn Boss, Tommy Berry, and someone else. Or could you watch a show with Simon Marshall, Danny Nicklick,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
Daniel Ganderton?
yeah. That's it. So I'm watching that. Yeah,
So
I'm
you can
watching
watch
that.
that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hosted
Like
by
that-
Patrick Murphy because he's a little bit more polished.
Yeah, Patrick, and then
Yeah.
the other show we got Bossy, Tommy Berry, Christian Reith,
Yeah.
and say Robert Thompson. I mean, what show are you going to watch? So we like, as a view,
Yeah.
we like a little bit of edginess, don't
Yeah, yeah, there's ones that are a bit willing. They're,
Yeah.
you know,
we? Bit willing's good.
Yeah.
Bit willing's
I think so.
interesting. I think.
Yeah. DD has said, watching the first episode, one thing missing in is a segment called the Punters Pulpit. My suggestion for that segment would be the Glenn stuff. Imagine Glenn after a bad or good day on the punt, getting up there and venting the spleen. I realise Sunday morning is not a good time for Glenn after a hard Saturday night eating McDonald's out of a car boot. we could do the segment live from the Punters' den, i.e. home, with the company of a doona. Of course, he would need a 10-second delay on his microphone to protect the innocent and more accurately the guilty. I think Mr. Parnell would jump at the suggestion. Finally, why the ATC cannot get the race replay channel working is beyond me. Instead of the board members being upstairs having their lunch, they should be making sure important things like the replay channel is working. Its importance is undersold. Love the show. Remember last week at Round Week, Glenn? I think I tweeted them after every race that we're getting closer. We didn't have it for a start. We had the shot of the front yard of the grandstand.
Yeah.
And then we had the
replay
stewards.
channel is just it's a fait accompli. It's just there. It is. It's the same
No,
spot all the time.
No. Well, the TVs were there, but the TVs were showing the front of it.
Wyong and Gosford and places. They go, and you go to the office, go, we see the replay channel, they go, yeah, I suppose, what about the next race? What do you want to say?
Yeah, more Crowform, Darren, does bigger field sizes equal bigger profits?
Well, the best example is race 1 at Melbourne on Saturday. Petit Falou went around in a 16 or something, 18 or whatever it was, and there were bits and pieces in that race that meant that they bet 2.20 late on the fair and even money in the ring. And in Sydney it would have been an $8 field and she would have been $1.60. So
Great.
that's those extra numbers in the field.
That's your margin.
That's the margin.
If it's 10-20%, that's your profit over a year, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, but that's sort of stating the obvious. I think people are interested in the solution to the problem.
Maybe
The answer
people,
is a pineapple.
maybe people running the game in Sydney who have an idea about wagering and betting, and actually, if we had somebody in charge, one of my big things is somebody in charge of wagering. They would be wagering and understanding form and understanding what punters like. Then maybe there would be a possible solution. But at the moment, when you've got people who really don't have a grasp on betting, a real betting and the core wagering thing, Brent Zarafa has just been pulled over the coals for a $200 bet. Now, I reckon all Brent needed to do was just show, these are all the bets I've had in a year. I've had 1,000 on here, I've had 2,000 on something here.
They're charged him.
Yeah.
He's got to get Dennis Deluda. He's got to get that vibe of it.
He's got to get the vibe. It's got to be
Do you understand
Barber.
what the bet is? Do you guys understand what happened? Do you know what happened on the day?
Yeah.
He got called in to be the mounting yard expert.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, first of all, he's no mounting yard expert. None of them are. Okay? So his mounting yard picks were A, B, C.
Yeah.
They look the best to me. That. Oh, I've got this tip here. Yeah, I'm going to throw 200 on D.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I feel like having a bet.
Yeah.
And they're saying, look, you backed this, but you said these are the best. Yeah, well, they were the best, Mr. Murray, from the mounting yard.
Yeah.
But I actually got a good tip for this, so I had $200 on it.
And
he's got no right not to do that.
No.
That's not misleading. And then the stupid throw-off line is just typical racetrack banter.
Oh, God, it's true.
The only person that doesn't understand racetrack banter is Ray Murray.
Here's one.
He doesn't want to.
All right, just digressing on that, right?
He's going.
So they've grabbed phone records, all that sort of stuff, grab everyone's phone. Why don't we grab everybody's phone, every trainer, every jockey, throw them all in, and let's go through everyone's text messages. And the stewards.
Phones in.
Phones in, everyone's
Ramble
phone
goes
in.
to 2-day holidays where it's keys in.
Yeah.
We're going phones in.
We're phones in. Phones in for everyone.
No Lego.
Let's
No
go.
Lego.
I think the great definition during the week is I was having lunch with a lovely lassie who's an ATC member, it doesn't matter who it was, and she just got the latest letter and she said, oh, look at this, it was the new AGC calendar, whatever. There it was, it's just all rubbish,
Yeah.
There's Darren Pearce, we need more prize money. Next bloke, we need more prize money. It's just a blah, blah.
Yeah.
But then it's like 8 pages of fashion and they had 3 of the most beautiful shots of this good style of bloke with the beard, the model rock and the Sheila, walking along with the horse. She was in the most beautiful, like $800 thing with a pantsuit. Like, with not a dress where you get the thing and the little shot. You're not allowed to wear that on the races if you're in the members.
Oh, okay.
I just loved it. She said, if I bought this, I'm not allowed to wear this in the members. I thought,
Yeah.
well done.
Yeah, beautiful.
Of course, there it is.
There it is, yeah.
It'd
Well,
be nice if you turned up in that outfit and they said, sorry, love, you can't come in.
yeah, how much it cost? It's 8,000.
I loved it.
Beautiful.
So, Dale, I'm going to have to go. So I just read this couple of questions here. Do you want me to answer them quickly before I go?
Which one's that, mate? Yes.
From Liam.
We don't want to miss out on your
One
lunch.
about the Mackay Diva Stakes.
Yes.
So yeah, the questioner says it was a slowly run race. That's dead right. A lot of those horses are going to pay a penalty for that. I think Faulkner's fine. The other run in that race that needs to be looked at that is the best run from gate 1 all day. There was the the Rising Romance. I'm not quite sure where they go with it, but maybe she might be some hope in the Caulfield Cup. Maybe, I don't know, I'm not quite sure. But
She ran second to my Iraqi already.
So one of Mark's favourite things, she jumped out with she sprung straight to the front, then she sat in the worst spot you could possibly sit in, and she overcome that and got into the finish. So I think she's interesting. Highwell just needs to find a race with a horse like the Queen of the Chase or something, because he's suffering a penalty for losing his momentum. He's not that kind of horse. And that's really about it for that race.
And Petit Falou v Exosphere.
I'd be backing Exosphere in that race, but if they put Petit Falou away and she's still in one piece and they resume her in the Oakley Plate in the autumn, she'd be an absolute moral. Well,
she's now 4th run in. She's running good figure. Or I don't know.
Starting to stretch her.
Yeah, you see, Kieran Maher, he can train, can't he?
Oh, what do you
Yeah, and like it's obviously he's had a lot of 2-year-olds, and he's handled for him to get that horse to run like he did on Saturday, 4th run first prep. That's pretty serious.
I feel like her in the autumn, like she could win the Oakley Plate, then come to Sydney and be really competitive in a lot of big prize money races. You know, she's a wet tracks would be fine for her. So even something like the TJ Smith 3rd up for her wouldn't be out of the question, I wouldn't think. But in the race you mentioned down the straight, I'd be backing Exosphere because I don't know he's going to keep Petit Falou in one piece long enough. Anyway.
Beautiful. All right, mate.
Thanks a lot. Thanks,
Thanks for the show, Darren.
All right, we'll stop here and come back to the next part. Thanks, mate.